Hello, Abnormal and Patreon members. This is your video drop of the week for being members. And also, you're going to get a little hint. Hopefully, I'm going to have good news to share with you tomorrow. Something is happening right now for Hunter. So, we are in prayers right now that it's a good outcome. Also, if you would like to donate to what's happening with Hunter and to support Bring Hunter Home Now, the links are in the description. So many of you are helping, and it helps so much. So thank you all so very much. I'm not going to lie, this encounter right here, guys, is a tough one. So let me know what you think about this one. It's a sad one. This happened to me in 2021. I had always loved the outdoors and the woods, but this incident scared me for life. At that time, I was 3 months pregnant. My husband and I decided to go camping trip. We reached our location, set up camp and a cozy fire, and sat around it talking about our baby. Amidst the conversation, my husband jokingly said, "I hope you packed all your medicines, because there's not a single town for miles from here." I laughed and said yes. After about 20 minutes of talking, I started to feel as if we were being watched, and as if there was an unseen force lurking just beyond the light of our bonfire. I told my husband about my feelings, but he just blamed pregnancy hormones and laughed it off, saying I was just being maybe a little paranoid. But a part inside me knew that I was not overthinking. So I made the excuse of being tired and urged him to come with me to sleep, and just to call it a night. As soon as we laid down in our tent, my husband fell off to sleep, but I couldn't shake the feeling of not being alone. And I hated being alone in those woods. The thought and heaviness was so heavy. As I was about to drift off, I suddenly sat upright, my ears carefully scanning the darkness for a sound. But the thing was, there was no sound. Not a cricket or an insect chirping or the occasional hoot of an owl. Nothing. Being an outdoorsman person, I knew this was a bad sign, but I was helpless. Suddenly, I heard a twig snap near our tent. After seconds, another twig snapped. This time it felt as if it was just outside our tent. I started hearing heavy breathing, as if something huge was standing just in front of our tent. I brought my ears up closer to the tent wall, and I swear I could feel the warmth of the breathing and a sickening smell coming from whatever was out there. I was taken back when that thing almost whispered in my ear. It said, "The baby, the baby." Tears started rolling down my eyes. I held my mouth as I tried not to make a sound. I shook my husband and signaled to him to keep quiet and listen. He was horrified by the whispers. The thing slowly started to touch the walls as I could see its claws and hands almost twice as big as my hands. Then my husband tried to pick up the rifle he had, but unfortunately that rifle dropped and made a click sound. The thing started tearing through the tent. In one attempt, I was inside and grabbed by my leg, and it started pulling me into the darkness. In that moment I saw it, a humanoid creature, almost 7 feet tall, pale white, with dark holes instead of eyes, and what seemed to be horns upon its head. Not tall horns, but horns that wrapped around its head like a goat. Its claws ripped through my legs as I screamed for my husband. My husband came running with a log on fire and his rifle. The rifle did no good to the creature because he was shaken too bad to be able to hit him. As my husband touched him with the fire log, he screeched the most horrifying scream and fell to the ground. By that time, I was crawling toward the car. My husband helped me inside and got in. We drove away as fast as we could. As we were able to leave the tree line, we saw it for the last time staring at us, and I swear I saw it laughing and grinning. And I heard the whisper again, as if it whispered across the water in a yell, but in a whisper voice. Don't ask me how, but it happened. And it said, "The baby's mine." This time my husband heard it too. I broke down and started crying. We gradually reached home about 3 hours later and decided not to speak about the incident. But we also knew that I had to have my legs took care of as there was large gashes in them, and what would we tell the ER? I couldn't tell him that I was attacked by a creature, could I? So we got to the ER, and whenever we got there, I told the head nurse what had happened. She was checking me, of course, to make sure the baby was okay. My husband was waiting outside patiently as I could hear him walking back and forth past the door. Then the nurse told me, "You cannot tell the doctor that this happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen, because I believe in those too. But you cannot tell the doctor that that's what happened. You have to tell him it was an animal, because if you tell him what actually happened, they may find that you're unable to take care of your baby, and they may take your child." So afraid of losing my child, I told the doctor what had happened, that we were attacked by some kind of large cat. He cleaned me up. A few of those needed stitches up and down my legs, and then they done the checking of the baby. The doctor arrived back in, and he told me he was sorry that I had miscarried. He said the animal pulling me about and thrashing me about and dragging me on the ground had caused me to miscarriage. All I could think in my head after the doctor had left me and my husband to try to figure out what had happened and how to deal with this was it whispering in my ear, "The baby is mine." Now I know the baby didn't go to this creature because babies are saved and they go to heaven. But did he mean that he wanted to kill my baby? Is that why he said the baby is mine? Man, that's a tough one, guys. I wouldn't recommend anybody going camping being pregnant. I'm not going to say not to do it, but I'm going to say that, man, it's a lot. There's a lot more risk to it. Whatever it was, I knew she was pregnant, so I don't know if it was watching them or if it just sensed it. But this is a very sad story. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of what you think happened and what caused this. Until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel and don't be something's dinner.